Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Quotes. What kind of quotes you need today, huh? I think the biggest thing is that it's best that he get a fresh start somewhere else. He's had some issues, as we know, so we wish him the best. And he's a good player, and hopefully he can get it all straightened out and go from there.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into Sports Talk South Carolina Radio Network here on a Tuesday night from a hot Columbia. Things warmed up late this afternoon, got into the mid-90s. Going to be that way, I think, much of the rest of the week. As we get through another week of state for the college football teams, the high school football teams, and, of course, in our states for a little longer, an NFL team before they decide to pack up and move to Charlotte to get ready for the start of the regular season. Good to have you with us. Hope you've had a wonderful day, and thank you for making Sports Talk your choice for sports information, entertainment, enlightenment, and insight. Phil Kornbluth, we won't be together for a few days after tonight. K-Mac is going on another vacation.
Sayonara, one last breath of air before football season.
How many vacations do you get in a single
unlike you, I
calendar
didn't
year?
take off 6 weeks at once. I took off a few days and 5 days in June. I'm going to take off a few days here in August to catch my breath before what I'm sure is going to be another hard-hitting and exciting football season. I have to admit, I am getting very excited for football, more so than normal. I get last year, all this other stuff was going on.
K-Mac has that.
I've got the bug.
Yeah, you missed all the buildup last year.
I mean, maybe that's why. Maybe it's like it's because last year the stuff was going on when I was going to be out, but now I'm really listening to Larry Fedora, listening to Steve Spurrier, listening to the Panthers, and a lot of people must be excited. They've had over 50,000 people show up at Camp Wofford. Already shattered their record from last year.
That's why it's going to be weird to see what happens on Saturday, because I know Spurrier wants to be inside the stadium for the scrimmage, but they may have to be on the practice fields because of the construction.
And I will say, Williams-Brice Stadium, the plaza area, it really looks nice. All that's left to be completed besides the little stuff is the side along George Rogers Boulevard. They're still putting the final touches there as far as filling in the cement and the trees and the plants and the brick and all that stuff. But boy, Gamecocks can have a very fine area around Williams-Brice Stadium. It's going to be a totally new look from what Gamecock fans have been used to over the years. It's going to really add a lot to that area. Speaking of the Gamecocks, I was out at practice today and had a chance to actually see what was going on inside the gates. They had the gate open, and so I kind of positioned myself to look inside the field. And, from what I could see from far away, they were getting after it pretty good. This was toward the end of practice. They were getting after it pretty good. I really like what they're doing. They've got Isaiah Johnson, the transfer from Kansas, and Jordan Diggs at safety playing in combo, and those are two big safeties, and they look like they can pack a punch and stop a big running back. We've got a lot coming up. Tell you about it in a moment. All right, back with you on Sports Talk. The Sports Talk team is here. Happy to say that none of us has punched any of the other of us in the jaw and broken our jaws. And cost us our job for the next 8 to 10 weeks, or cost our job forever in the NFL. It's happened today with the lovely New York Jets. Couldn't happen to a finer team, if you ask me.
Jets. Jets.
It's officially football season. The Jets are
in
imploding.
the season.
All right, coming up, Steve Spurrier from practice today. He came over and talked to us again. He has been very accessible this camp, unlike any other camp I can remember. He did all the 4 local television stations today, sitting down, doing one after another, 5-minute segments with each of the local TV stations in Columbia
From
today.
the golf cart?
No. He went to each one. They each set up in a spot on the practice field behind the end zone. He did one. He did the next, right on down the line.
When's he going to do all the radio people?
He came over and did us after that. He's done us regularly. Oh, as far as doing
exclusive.
No, he won't do that. He will not do that. He'll only do the Gamecock station, and he'll do I think a station in Florida, and he'll do Feinbaum show. Just won't do
just
that.
to yell at Feinbaum. I've
I
noticed
guess.
the last few times he's done that show.
That's just what he does. What else do we have to tell you about from there? Of course, you know that nothing new to report in terms of the Wesley Green deal. He just we asked him if the marijuana arrest or citation that he got back in March was a major reason for his departure, and he just kind of stood by his statement of yesterday and wished him well. Just said sometimes it doesn't work out. He's a good player. He did say he was a good player, but sometimes it just doesn't work out at a particular school, and you need to go and start somewhere else. He did say Brock Stadnick has seen his career end at South Carolina. As he had said before, he didn't expect Stadnick to play this year. Now he's confirmed he's going to go on a medical hardship, and it gives him an extra scholarship, and it also means his career at South Carolina is over. So, again, and I'm not picking on these two players, but, these are two guys that carried, quote, 4-star labels coming out of high school, come to South Carolina, and neither one will play a meaningful down for the Gamecocks.
Well,
so,
injuries, you never can account for injuries.
That's what I'm saying.
Marcus Lattimore was a 5-star player that got
I'm just
ravished by injuries.
I'm telling people, I always tell people, don't get caught up in the star system because you don't know how it's going to turn out for a player. It's all guesswork and projection. But anyway,
yeah, because Green was he screwed up.
Yeah, apparently. Mm-hmm. And what else? Spurrier, the quarterback still kind of lumped together. Nothing changed there. Watching the defense, listening to Kurt Botkin and Lorenzo Ward afterwards, they look pretty good to me. From a distance, they look pretty good to me. Of course, last year's defense looked pretty good in the preseason, so we'll see what happens. Clemson's on the field this afternoon. They will be meeting with reporters in a little bit. Dabo Swinney is not with the team again today. His father's funeral was this afternoon, and he will be rejoining the team later tonight, but he was not with the Tigers today at practice. And let's see, what else do we have to tell you about very quickly before we get to your phone calls. And you can reach us at 800-956-7266. Ray Tanner is now a Hall of Famer. Ray Tanner, USC AD, former baseball coach, selected for induction into the American Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. The induction will take place in Nashville on January 8th. He is one of 4 going into the Hall of Fame. The others are Robert Babb, Augie Garrido, and Sam Riggleman. So congratulations to Ray Tanner. Frank Martin's going to join us here at the bottom of the hour, the USC basketball coach. Today he announced his team's non-conference schedule for the coming season. They will play Allen on November 8th in an exhibition game, open the regular season as part of the Paradise Jam November 14th against Norfolk State. 2 days later, they will play Oral Roberts in Columbia. Then it's off to the Virgin Islands to play 3 games there. Lipscomb at home November 27th, Western Carolina at home November 30th, South Florida at home December 5th. Then the breaks for exam, and December 15th, Drexel at home. Then the Gamecocks go to Clemson, or go to Greenville to play Clemson, and December 22nd, they play St. John up in Connecticut. December 30th, the first ever meeting with Francis Marion in Columbia. And January 2nd, last non-league game will be against Memphis. USC Fan Appreciation Day for football will be this Sunday at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. But they're calling it the annual Colonial Life Fan Appreciation Day. Okay, I guess Colonial Life is sponsoring it, even though it's not at their arena. It's going to be at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. Doors will open at 1 o'clock. Clemson Fan Day comes up on August 23rd. It's presented by Greenville Health System and Coca-Cola. And that will be at Memorial Stadium. And the autograph signings begin at 2:30. Notre Dame is going to be featured all season long on Showtime. Showtime is going to have inside access to Notre Dame's football team, and we'll have a season-long series of shows on the Irish, as if, Notre Dame needs more free publicity.
Really?
It begins on Tuesday, September 8th at 10 o'clock.
So will they show highlights of them when they play ACC teams, so ACC teams can get a little bit of publicity?
I would think so.
From that.
Hard Knocks starts tonight as well on HBO.
By the way, something near and dear to your heart is televising of the Little League World Series. Interesting.
That girl,
I think she's too old now.
Oh, okay.
No, but
because I would expect she was going right to the
Danny
major league.
Alonte's still
based
pitching
on,
to somebody, I'm sure.
ESPN's coverage, yeah.
ESPN was showing today where the Northwood Little League team from Taylor's, they won today against Florida. They're now in the championship game. And this is what was interesting to me, because I know there's a lot of Dixie Youth baseball here, but if they win against the winner of Florida and a team from Virginia on the 13th, I think it is, they will be the first South Carolina team in the Little League World Series since 1950.
Wow.
Clinton.
Really? 1950?
Yeah, Clinton went.
K-Mac, how's that Newberry Chapin American Legion team doing?
That Newberry Chapin American Legion team is doing very well. Corn.
Undefeated.
I'm glad you asked. They are undefeated, which is very, very impressive that they could still be undefeated at this stage in the game. They are
going
28
to the American Legion World Championship.
They are
now.
World Series starting Friday. It's in Shelby, North Carolina, home of Pro. You know where Shelby, North Carolina is the home of.
Well, I know David Thompson.
David Thompson
and Chad Holbrook. That was the answer I was looking for. But yeah,
he didn't know David Thompson.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was thinking more locally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The guy coaching South Carolina. But okay, David Thompson. You're right. I didn't know. Full disclosure. And I'm told Danton Hyman, who signed with Newberry out of Mid Carolina, was a tournament MVP in the last round.
You're just all over it.
Well, I got to thank Jimmy Coggins from WKDK in Newberry, who's keeping us up, and the Twitter feed of the Newberry Chapin.
And a baseball note from the Clemson Insider, citing sources saying that Clemson's expected to pick up a transfer in Grayson Bird, who spent his freshman year at LSU. He's the son of former MLB pitcher Paul Bird. He was selected by the Braves in the 30th after a senior year in high school in Milton, Georgia. As a freshman, he hit .212 with 9 RBIs in 24 games as the backup to Alex Bregman, the number 2 overall pick in the draft. Bird is 6'3", 180, expected to enroll at Clemson in January. Won't be eligible to play for the Tigers until 2017. So an infielder coming to Clemson, Grayson Bird, as they continue to add players to their roster.
Also, the Oops Award for Greg Marshall at Wichita State. I don't know if you saw this story, but Texas A&M guard, pretty good shooter Peyton Allen, transferring. And apparently Wichita State entertained him and his parents for dinner on July 31st.
One day too soon?
One day too soon from the dead period. So they say, oh, you self-reported, so you lose one visit next year as far as recruits are concerned. Instead of 12, they get 11.
Another story to keep an eye on here out of Coastal Carolina, their president said that if they get an offer from the Sun Belt to join, they're going.
Ooh.
They will leave the Big South and they will go. And Don Hogan is leaving the Coastal Carolina basketball team, longtime assistant to Cliff Ellis at multiple places, going to become a high school district athletic director in Florida. We'll be right back. right, coming up, Frank Martin and Steve Spurrier. Where else can you go to find those two on the same night, the same place, right here on Sports Talk, plus stuff from Clemson and more from USC. And we'll work in some phone calls as well. 800-956-7266 is the number. And we go to Mike in Sumter for the first call tonight. Mike, welcome into Sports Talk. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Hope you guys are doing great. Hey, I haven't been able to really talk to you guys or hadn't been able to comment, but I want to get a comment from you three on the discrepancy in the national media's rankings of FSU and the ACC. I'm just trying to think. ACC overwhelmingly picked Clemson to win the conference, which I just thought that boggled my mind with them losing so many players on defense, having holes on the O-line, and then not really having a true running back. I know Watson is great, but I just don't feel like they're going to beat Florida State for the conference. I'm sorry, for the division championship this year. I think if they had played the Seminoles in early September, they would probably beat them there. But I just think FSU has too much coming back, and especially if Golson catches on offense, man, they're going to be really dangerous on offense. And I just kind of want to get you guys' opinion on discrepancy, because everybody that I'm seeing, from Sports Illustrated to the coaches poll, had a nose in the top 10, and Clemson right around 12 to 15. Just wanted to hang up the Love You Show. Just want to get you guys' comments on that.
All right, thanks very much. Yeah, I noticed that too. The national polls are favoring Florida State over Clemson here in the preseason. Locally, people have gone with Clemson over Florida State in that division. I can't speak for what the national guys are thinking about and what they're, they get caught up, of course, in Florida State and their greatness and this, that, and the other, and they're not as close to it as we are. We see a Clemson team that is, they're loaded. There's no doubt about it. They are loaded. They get Florida State at home. You could legitimately make the argument that Clemson should have won that game last year. I know that Winston wasn't playing, but that's the way it was. It was his fault that he wasn't playing, and you could have made the argument, barring a fumble there late, Clemson's going to win that game in Tallahassee. And the emotional side of things will be with Clemson. I would certainly think Clemson, I would pick them to beat Florida State in Death Valley. So I don't see Florida State, unless Clemson stubs its toe a time or two against somebody else, a Louisville or Georgia Tech. I don't see Florida State winning that division. So I think we've got a better grasp on it here locally and regionally than they do nationally. I look for Clemson to finish ahead of Florida State in the final rankings, because I think Clemson's going to beat Florida State and have a better overall record.
Well, I mean, I thought it was interesting. Florida State took their team picture yesterday. They took two. One picture with Dalvin Cook in it. One picture they told them, all right, go ahead and leave. Now we're going to take one without you.
Yeah.
How much is he worth a win or two for Florida State? Hope says absolutely.
Couldn't it just
What does he know? He doesn't know when he's out chasing fish.
He chimed in the headset.
He's been out. He's been on vacation. Okay,
Maybe he's been watching.
I'm sorry.
Dalvin Cook
I don't respect
film.
anybody in the sports world who goes on vacation in August during football camp. It's just my personal feelings. And he was out chasing fish.
I'm gone
as well. Probably tell you how many encores they play, but he can't tell you who the starting run. You ever heard of Jock Patrick? Pretty damn good. back at Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, here on a hot August evening in the capital city. Hope you've had a great day. Phil Kornblut here, along with Professor Tom Hayes and K-Mac Kevin McCrary. More calls coming up. A lot of football coming your way. Steve Spurrier and more from the Gamecocks and coverage of Clemson's practice day as well. But we are going to turn our attention to hoops. We can always talk hoops here on Sports Talk because we love hoops. USC coach Frank Martin joining us this evening here on Sports Talk. Coach, how are you? We're doing well, but your cell doesn't sound so good. Can you hear us?
That's not.
There you go.
There
you go. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's quite all right. I'll ask you again, how are you?
I'm doing great, Phil. How about you?
We're terrific. And thank you for joining us on a day that we find out your non-conference opponents for this coming season. What do you think of the group overall in terms of how it's going to test your team in the pre-SEC days?
I think it's a great test. I think there's styles of play that are very important. And I'll take one of the games that probably doesn't sound as good as some others, but Drexel, they're very big, very athletic. Bruiser Flint, almost a dozen years now. You don't stay at a job in today's day and age for 12 years unless your team plays the game the right way and your program's run the right way. And they play very hard, very defensive-minded. Bruiser's a former John Calipari assistant. So what happens is we try to find teams that will emulate styles and will challenge our basketball team, that will come in and whether it's at our place or their place, create problems for us. And I think Drexel's one of them, along with all the other ones.
I like the way that you're wrapping it up with a home test against Memphis. And, that will certainly create a lot of excitement and will be a good way to kind of see exactly where your guys stand against quality competition as you go into SEC play.
Yeah, they told me if I were to schedule one of those old Metro teams that, Phil, maybe we both feel like we're back in our 20s again. So
yeah.
I was all for it. No, it's, Josh Pastner has built a program there that's been a consistent postseason member of postseason play. They've been top 25 hit or miss almost every year since you've been there. One of the great basketball cities in our country, and an old Metro Conference member of South Carolina. So I thought it'd be a home run. It gets our team better, and it also kind of reconnects us with a little bit of our past.
You'd have to bring, Larry Finch back, Denny Crum.
No, Dana Kirk.
Dana Kirk. Was it Dana Kirk or
Dana Kirk?
Maybe Larry Finch was playing some of the old names from Metro. Listen, they had some wars in the Metro Conference back in those days.
That's just some great basketball. I remember those days, and it was something else. Some great games.
Absolutely. All right, so your team this summer, let's talk about the injury side of things. Can you update us on guys who've been working to get healthy?
Yeah, I mean, whenever everyone back on the 18th for all our pre-academic year meetings and so forth, and the 20th is the first day of class. But from the first day of class, Thornwell and Blanton are both cleared to fully participate in everything we do. So, knock on wood. Hopefully that's something that continues, and those guys, play and maintain health the way I think that they will, and get themselves back into basketball shape here as we get closer to the beginning of the season.
Is this the first time that Blanton has been cleared by doctors to go full speed since he got to USC?
Well, he was full blown in practice when he hurt his hip.
Okay.
Last year, and it was actually happened maybe in our third practice or something like that. And but it's the first time that he's been cleared for full competition since the injury took place. So it's he had a real good summer. He just couldn't do anything competitively, but doctors, therapists, trainers, everyone's extremely happy with how he's healed, and his coaches work. Is just an unbelievable young man, unbelievable spirit, brings an unbelievable personality to our basketball team.
Well, you have some more pieces to deal with this time out. And is your goal, Coach, to have a set starting lineup and substitution pattern when you get to the conference season, or will you change your starting lineup and substitution patterns based on the opponent?
The time we get to conference play, you like to have a pretty good feel for what lineups play well together, what doesn't, who's good off the bench, who's better as a starter. You like to have all that figured out because from conference play, then you start hopefully preparing yourself for postseason play, and all those things need to be in order for the personality of your team. But I'm also one of those guys, I believe in daily competition. I'm not one of those guys that kind of rests on his laurels kind of per se. I believe that every day I've got to be a better coach every day. I've got to challenge myself every day. I want players to challenge me every day to do my job better. So in essence, I like creating competition amongst players and let them all know that the day you don't do your job, there's another guy standing in line waiting for your job. And that kind of prepares them for life because as they move out of college and into real life, the day you don't do your job, you get walking papers and they bring the next guy in right away.
Or in case you happen to punch the starting quarterback in the face and break his jaw, they'll show you your walking papers too.
Well, don't make bets, sir. Don't give your word on things that you ain't going to keep, and you don't have to worry about those problems.
All right, talking to Frank Martin, USC basketball coach. You've got a 5-man freshman class coming in. 1 through 5 are these guys, each of them guys that you think can contribute in some form or fashion this season, or will there be 1 or 2 who may need some seasoning, not particularly a redshirt year, but will be guys that will, you're not expecting to step up right away?
Yeah, I mean, Phil, I've never been one to worry about those kind of things. I think all those things kind of play out as preseason and daily responsibilities, and all those things take shape in the preseason and the season as a whole. I'm a big believer that you don't recruit over people. You recruit to what your needs are to complete your basketball team and to prepare you for the loss of people. I'm a big believer in that. And, we knew we graduated Carrera, Mendogas, and Limones after this year. So guess what? We have 3 freshman frontline guys in Cobb, Dobie, and Silva. And there's a big reason for that. Those 3 guys will learn this year from the 3 seniors and be better prepared as sophomores. But if they earn the right to play this year, so be it. And I just I'm a big that you don't predetermine things. You just kind of fill your team in based on the needs that you as a coach believe you have. And then prepare them and best man move forward.
Mm-hmm. Would it be fair with these new guys coming in to say that you do have your most complete team since you've been at South Carolina?
Yeah, it's our summer workouts. It's the first time since I've been here where we've you could say we had a full complement of players. We were in a place where every time I looked around, there was another positive play being made by a different person. And it's the first time since I've been here where I feel we have guys in place that understand, guys in place that have a sense of urgency. They comprehend me, I comprehend them. And then you have a group of freshmen that are very talented and they're so willing to follow the leadership of those guys that are in place.
Frank, we've got a break coming up. May we hold you over for a couple of minutes?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great. Thank you. Talking with Frank Martin, USC basketball coach here on Sports Talk, and talking about the upcoming, start of practice for Gamecock basketball. It's really not until October, but it's never too soon, I guess, to start talking about
basketball
that
year round.
In the mix of talking football practice as well. But you're right. These guys never stop playing and never stop practicing. We have a few more questions for the coach, and we'll get to him in a moment. Also, Steve Spurrier, comments from earlier today after his practice coverage of Clemson's Day 2. Recruiting also coming up. We'll be right back. And we're back on Sports Talk with USC basketball coach Frank Martin right here in the – what are you doing messing up our football talk tonight with all this basketball talk?
I kind of was hoping I can hear some football talk. You know me, I'm a football fan. I'm kind of excited. It's August. And,
Well, Fogler used to come on the show before he kind of faded away and just, nobody knows who he is anymore. But he used to come on the show and pick football games in the preseason. He would predict what everybody was going to do.
Well, back in the day, it was easy to predict. You were going to run the ball between the guard and the tackle to the right a couple times. Every once in a while, shift the tight end, and you run it the other way.
Oh, there you go.
But now with these spread offenses and shotguns and all this stuff, it's gotten a little bit more complicated.
Did you play any football growing up?
Yeah, that's the only. Growing up in South Florida, Phil, all we had was the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
There was no college basketball. There was no professional sports other than the Miami Dolphins. The University of Miami was no good when I was a kid. So growing up, you had the Dolphins in the 70s, and that was about it.
What position did you play?
That's what drove me away from playing. I wanted to be a tight end or a linebacker. But I was never, I was never very good on my feet. I didn't run real fast. So but I had good feet. So they made me an offensive lineman, and that kind of pushed me away. But I didn't mind. I love football. I like to hit, or I wanted to catch the ball. Those are the two things that kind of got me going. But growing up, my guy was Larry Zonka. That's who I always wanted to be as a player.
Absolutely. Did you hold your breath when you heard about P.J. Dozier's spill in the summer league and coming down on the face and all that kind of stuff?
Not really. I mean, injuries are part of sports. I mean, whether it's PJ or Brian Steele or John Reagan, a freshman walk-on we have, it's all, they all bother you the same way. When one of them gets banged up, it's you don't feel more because it's a guy that could be a star player or a guy that is a star player, or he's a walk-on. It's they all impact at least me. They all impact me the same way.
And what are your plans for PJ once practice begins? What position do you want to stick him at to start things off and then go from there?
Yeah, in the summer, everything we do is very vanilla and very a lot more teaching than 5-on-5 stuff. But it seems to me what the times I've been around him there this summer that he thinks the game like a point guard. And which is great because I love playing with 2 point guards, and it's the first time since I've been here. We had it some last year with Stroman and Ty Johnson, but then Stroman got sick of me. But because of Dwayne and Senderis' experience at point guard for the past 2 years, they starting to think the game like one. And when you add 2 guys like Stroman and PJ, that definitely think the game like a point guard. It's the first time since I've been here where we have multiple options to be able to play 2 guys at the same time to think it that way.
Is PJ still growing?
I think so. He's a big mission of his was to get his body stronger, and he put on more lean muscle than anyone else on our team this summer. And he's gone in that weight room. He's eating. He's training. I wouldn't be surprised to see him sprout out another inch or 2 before he's all done.
So you could see, I've got him at 6'7" coming out of high school. You could see him 6'8", 6'9"?
I don't see why not. He's like he's at that age where he might not, I don't know, but he might have one more growth spurt left. And, he's still like a little young buck. He barely has any hair on his arms and legs. And, he might still grow just a little bit more. Maybe not. And if he doesn't, I'll say this. I don't remember too many 6'7" point guards failing. And that's a special gift that he has right now.
Absolutely. All right, last thing, anything with the uniforms, the look of the team this season? You doing any touch-ups or anything like that, or just like last year?
No, there's a couple changes. Phil, I tend to leave all that, the uniform stuff, more up to the players, and then I just either give it thumb up or thumb down. With the Under Armour players and Andy Astley in our office. I know there's some changes that went on, and you know, I think there were a couple of uniforms there that I think our fans. I get emails like everyone else. I don't think our fans cared for them too much, and I got to be honest with you, neither did I. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is, and there's some changes coming, and you know, I think the ones that we get ready to see will be a little bit better.
Coach, as always, we appreciate it. Have yourself a great rest of the summer, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Frank Martin, USC basketball coach, with us here on Sports Talk. PJ Dozier, they don't like to put too much hype on one young player, but I got a feeling he's going to be really exciting to watch. All right, let's give you the recruiting report tonight. Mike Morgan coming up. Also, USC football, Clemson football coming up here on the program. And, of course, we'll talk some NASCAR with Chip Weil from Darlington in the next hour as well. From recruiting, talked with Cornell Powell last night just to follow up on his tweet earlier in the day indicating that he was all set with Clemson, and he confirmed that with us last night. And basically he just said Clemson respected his wishes. He talked it over with his mom, decided it wasn't worth missing out on Clemson. He had planned officials with Georgia, Oklahoma, and Ohio State, but he wiped that slate clean except for his visit to Clemson. He has no regrets about that. He said he feels as if he's made the right decision. He said he and Coach Sweeney are cool. He's a great guy, and I can't wait for him to be my coach. Defensive back Javon Jackson of Tyrone, Georgia, visited USC Saturday and Duke on Sunday. He has offers from each. And USC is recruiting defensive end Trevez Moore, 6'3", 240, Bastrop, Louisiana. LSU, TCU, his top two, but the Gamecocks are in there at number 3 on his list, and he said he's been talking to Deke Adams quite a lot. He had hoped to attend the pool party and camp last month, but couldn't make it in. He's been to LSU, Oregon, and Louisiana Tech. He said USC is recruiting him hard, but he really doesn't know much about the program. He is considering taking an official to USC. He's going to make his decision announcement at his homecoming game. He had 8 sacks last season. Clemson and DeAndre Overton, wide receiver from Greensboro, North Carolina. Tigers are really going hard after him. It's Tennessee, Nebraska, North Carolina, and NC State as well. And he said last night the Tigers, Tennessee, and Nebraska at the top of his list with no favorite. Went to Tennessee in late July. He talked with Clemson recruiter Jeff Scott Monday, and he said they're telling they need him to come into the program. He has not scheduled his official visits, but he said he would return to Clemson soon for a game. He's not decided when he'll make his decision. He's also a basketball prospect, and he said they will give him the option to play that sport as well, but football is his primary sport. Lawrence defensive back Thomas Jones, who had many football offers, has committed to Vanderbilt for baseball. His coach announced that today. And in basketball, Clemson has offered 6'7" Amir Sims of Dyke, Virginia. Dyke, Virginia. And we'll leave it at that.
Central, West, or Eastern Virginia?
What's that? Dyke?
Yeah, where is it?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Dyke, Virginia.
No,
Mac, you've ever been to Dyke, Virginia? I know you've been to Salem.
I have not.
Thought maybe you might have visited Dyke.
I have been
Virginia.
to Salem many times. Cannot wait to never go back there again.
Nobody's getting my joke here about Dyke. Nobody's catching it. I mean, it's like going right over y'all's heads here.
No, I'm catching it. That's why I'm staying away from it.
Yeah. K-Mac doesn't get it. It's before his time. All right, top of the hour break. We'll be back.
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
And we're back here on Sports Talk, and let's get to our Braves report starring Mike Morgan. Brought to you by Play It Again Sports off Bower Parkway in Columbia and by Founders Federal Credit Union, helping South Carolinians attain their financial goals. We welcome Mike into Sports Talk once again. Braves and Tampa Bay about to go at it tonight down at the Trop, and it's Erasmo Ramirez against Williams Perez.
It is indeed one of the worst home stadiums in all Major League Baseball. We'll see one of the worst lineups I've seen issued by the Braves in a while. This is worth repeating. If you'll indulge me for a second. Michael Bourne batting off. That's not so bad. Michael Bourne just picked up in the trade with Cleveland, former Brave. Cameron Maybin in the 2-hole. He's been a pleasant surprise, kind of a disappointment in San Diego. Nick Markakis will DH tonight. A.J. Przinsky, who was brought in to be a veteran leader and kind of a tutor for some younger players, be a clubhouse guy. He's cleaning up for the Braves. Nick Swisher in the 5-hole playing first. Jace Peterson in the 6-hole. And then, of course, it's not a lineup until you have Adonis Garcia, his name present. He's batting 7th. Angleton Simmons 8th. And you know him and you love him, Yuri Perez, playing right field and batting 9th. I'm not making a joke. That is actually the starting 9. That's not. I've done spring training games that have looked better on the starting line.
I mean, like, is Yuri Perez wearing number 86 out there in right field or what? Is he related to Williams by chance?
He is not, and he's wearing 14. But Yuri Perez has kind of snuck in the starting lineup. This is not the lineup you saw back in April, that's for sure.
No,
but,
don't knock Adonis too much now. He did hit that 2-run blow to win a game in extra innings the other day. I still don't know how he did it, but he did it.
True. No more Chris Johnson, of course. He's gone. And last night, I think it was K-Mac who was talking about Jose Peraza, who was the number 1 prospect. He picked up a triple last night, so Braves fans no doubt will be watching what he does while he's in the starting lineup in Los Angeles. But the Williams Perez actually has been a kind of a pleasant surprise this year, and of course he'll toe the rubber tonight, and we'll see if Atlanta can do some damage on the road in Tampa. It's a weird matchup. It's interleague, but I can't remember the last time the Braves were in Tampa. It seems like it's going on. That'll be the case for the next 3 games.
Mike, as always, Mike Morgan in our Braves report here on Sports Talk. And as far as games are going on already, just one is underway this evening. Oakland and Toronto just getting underway. In the first inning, they're scoreless.
I was about to say that Tampa has one of the worst stadiums, but when they built that stadium, it got the White Sox a new stadium because they threatened to move there. It's a new stadium because they threatened to move there.
All right, we will be back, dive into some football here on Sports Talk. Be right back. All right, let's get back into the football coverage today. USC, as usual, worked out this morning. Clemson just finished up a little while ago. We're waiting on some of the notes to start trickling out of town. But we do have Steve Spurrier for you. Once again, he has been very much out front with his football team in practice so far this year, coming over to the media at nearly every opportunity to address us, even when, we least expect him to come over. He's been coming over, and such was the case today. We had talked with some of the defensive folks, and then Spurrier came over to chime in about today's practice.
Quotes. What kind of quotes you need today? Huh? Anything much? Practice was so-so today. Not as super as we thought. Yesterday was a little bit better than today, but hopefully this afternoon we'll pick it up a bit. We can actually use the ball during walkthroughs today, so we'll have a little bit better walkthrough practice.
Darius and Rod, why were
Darius and Falk, we had two available. Brock Stadnick is on medical. He had that shoulder surgery. He's not going to be able to play. And then, of course, Wesley Green had his situation that was just bad, that he started fresh somewhere else, and we wish him the very best. So we had a couple available. Those two young men have busted their tails now in the weight room, summer conditioning, practice. They're good players. We're sort of loaded at running back. We got about 8 of them there, it seems like now. But they're all very good, and their time will come. And plus, Darius and Rod Talley are both very good on special teams. They're going to play on about all the kick teams this year.
A medical for Stadnick is a permanent thing, right? That's not a year.
That's correct.
Thing.
That's correct. He's a fourth-year guy that graduates in December, I think. So,
Wesley's deal with the marijuana, should that play a big role in his decision?
Oh, I don't want to get into all that. I think the biggest thing is that it's best that he get a fresh start somewhere else. He's had some issues, as we know, so we wish him the best. And he's a good player, and hopefully he can get it all straightened out and go from there.
Mm-hmm. Steve, you mentioned the other day about how much better the coverages were in the secondary and the scrimmage. Is that John Hope's influence?
Well, hopefully all of them, but obviously John's secondary coach. Grady Brown works with him back there, and we've got a little more simple type scheme of things with the safety back there most of the time, and a little bit of cover too here and there. But the guys know what to do. It's not complicated, so when they know what to do, they should have a better chance to execute their assignment.
Mm-hmm. Quarterback play today?
Oh, they were all so pretty good at times. Nothing too special, I don't think. Receivers are doing okay. They're coming around. I think Jarrell Adams caught a bunch of passes during one of the periods today. Yeah, we need to get more ball. Debo Samuel's running around very well. And some of those young freshman kids are coming around. Jalen Christian, Jared Washington. They're the two little flankers getting a lot of action now that Pharaoh's hurt. They're doing well. DJ Neal, freshman wide receiver, is coming around also. So,
any separation with the quarterbacks after today?
No, we'll let them keep going. A lot of them had a pretty good day yesterday. Connor Mitch had a good day yesterday. Pretty good one today. Perry threw some good ones. The band man, we call him the band man. The band Perry. So Perry's the band man looked pretty good out there today.
So when will you start to get them ready for the game?
No, we're doing that as far as getting ready for the season. We're doing all that right now. The game, we'll wait within 2 weeks of the game to start looking at North Carolina and putting the game plan in. Yeah, we're just trying to get ready for the total season right now. No new special or trick plays yet, but game plan later.
How much longer Pharaoh, you think?
He's running around a little bit. If we had sure, he probably could play, but he's taking a day or two off right now.
Do you like where you are at this point? I mean, do you like where you are?
Yeah, we've stayed pretty healthy really for 6 days, so forth. Yeah. I was watching that NFL channel. They said New England had 24 guys hurt in 8 days of practice or something like that. Hey, get that many guys hurt. I guess it just happens. Yeah, you got to be careful. Texans running back, Arian Foster, what, broke his foot? So, yeah, you worry about all that kind of stuff in preseason. All right. All right, man. All right, we'll see y'all later.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Jamie called me and said it's going to rain today. So I brought a hat. That's why I got a windbreaker on.
Well,
It was a little drizzly.
Okay.
That on the website, I did leave up the whole thing.
Well, you
because
never turn off your microphone with
Right.
Spurrier because he actually started up another conversation. It really wasn't worth repeating, but he did continue to talk once he got back in the golf cart about nothing really
Yeah,
significant.
he mentioned North Carolina. It wasn't any off the record stuff. So
No.
I left it on the website. That's the bonus stuff that you can hear
Yes.
at
Bonus
sportstalkfc.com.
Never turn your microphone off around Spurrier because
No.
you never know what you're going to get. All right, Steve Spurrier from earlier today, looking at the Gamecocks roster now, as I have it, with Brock Stadnick going on medical hardship, the additions of the most recent guys to get scholarships, and the deletion of Wesley Green, I've got him at 83 total scholarships. Now, I could be missing somebody else who received a scholarship. I don't know. I mean, I've got Carlton Hurd, walk-on here with a scholarship. Landon Ard, a walk-on, was given a scholarship. And then you had the two, Polk, who just got the scholarship, the two running backs, Polk and
Orth, you kind of did.
Yeah, Orth should be on here. Yeah, I've got Perry Orth in the junior class, and the other one was the other running back, Rod Talley. So I've got 83, and breaking it down, I've got them with 13 seniors this year. Then they have a huge junior group of 23, and then 17 in the sophomore class, and then a very small group of redshirt freshmen, or those who would be freshmen, 7. And then your incoming freshman group that's just joined the program, you got 23. So that's how they look as far as the roster is concerned, with what has happened with players going off, players leaving the program or going on medical scholarship or being added to the scholarship list. And coming up, we're going to hear from one of those Gamecocks, Quay Lewis, who just recently joined the program, the defensive end, native of Greenwood, who went to junior college, made a name for himself out in junior college land, and is now, being counted upon, guys, to be, I'm not going to say the next coming of Clowney, but there are high expectations for him based on his junior college career.
You're putting him in NFL already.
That, you see, that was a legitimate question. You know what? And this is for 3 Dumbo on our Twitter feed. His name 3 Dumbo? What's his name on our Twitter feed?
I don't think there's anybody on our Twitter feed that
Three
go by
Dingoes.
3
Dingo.
Okay.
That
was a Freudian slip.
3 Dumbo. I mean, the guy is about 22, almost 23 years old. He's 4 years removed from high school, at least, maybe 5. And if he has a good year, and you'll hear the question, the question was posed because you're an older guy. If you have the kind of year people think you can have and your stock goes up, is that something you would consider? And the news value of it is that, yes, he would consider leaving after 1 year. In other words, he's not sold on staying 2 years at South Carolina if he gets the opportunity to leave because of his age.
Right.
And because he's going to be draft eligible.
If you told the guy if you're going to be a first-round pick, second-round pick.
Well, we're not even talking first round. I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be a first-round pick. He doesn't have to be a first-round pick. He could hear 3rd or 4th round and think that's good enough for him.
South Carolina's had a rash of guys that go pro that don't get drafted and end up out of football in 3 years because they don't give them the best advice. I think Spurrier's always like, all right, you want to go? Go. I think sometimes you might want to tell them not to go, but he says he's worried if he tells them not to go and they come back and blow out their knee, they're always going to blame him. So he lets them make the decision, good or bad, all alone. That's his philosophy on it.
All right, we'll hear from Quay coming up. Yeah, Quay Lewis graduated from high school in 2012. So he's older than your typical junior college guy because he took a year off basically before he got into his junior college career, and he played 2 years of junior college ball, and now he's at South Carolina. And on Sunday, he was there with the other Gamecocks for Media Day to talk to us, and I had a chance to take him aside for a couple of minutes and asked him how the transition had gone for him, coming in so highly touted, how quickly he picked things up.
Yes, it's been exactly what I thought it was. A lot of hard determination to get better.
What have you been working on so far?
I've been working on, more mental aspects of the game of, hitting my keys and, taking the right steps, just from a technique standpoint.
Do you think so far you have done what they hoped you would do in terms of providing that rush off the end?
I think I have been doing it, but I just want to excel and, do a little bit more.
You feel like you talked about working on the mental side of it. So you feel like you come here with the physical tools to do what you have to do?
Yes, sir.
And those would be what?
Just getting after the passer, stopping runs, just holding stopping double teams, just running around and playing football.
Because you weren't here last year, so you didn't have to go through the struggles of the defense, but I'm sure you've heard of it. What do you think of this unit under Coach Hoke and what he's teaching you guys so far?
He's a teacher of the game, and he helps us. He helps us a lot mentally, learning where to fit, and just being better as a team as a whole to know where everybody's fitting at, and just keeping us level-headed about everything.
On a scale of 1 to 10, the defensive front, what kind of score would you give it? 10 being outstanding and 5 being pretty average, 1 being terrible. No, you're not going to go that far. But, you look across the line there and you see the guys lining up next to you. How would you grade it?
I would grade my team. I mean, we're learning each day, and so am I. So, I mean, I can't do nothing but give my team a 10. My defensive line was a 10. So
you see a group of guys that can put a push up, put a push on a quarterback and put some pressure on him as well as stopping the run?
Yes, sir. We're working on it each and every day, and we're striving at it. So hopefully, when it comes to playing, it transitions.
Being a South Carolina kid coming back to the state to play, what's that like for you, having your family close by and those folks able to come and see you and visit with you?
I mean, it's a big key of why I came here, and just knowing that being away for those 2 years and being able to come back and actually play for my home state is an amazing feeling, because my family didn't get out Kansas, but now they can reach me.
And your story, I mean, let's face it, you came out of high school and you weren't a recruited football player, and here you are going to be a starting defensive end in the SEC.
Yeah, a lot of hard work, and from where I was and where I am now, it's been a trial, but I made it.
This here on Sports Talk. Back in a moment. All right, Clemson football practice wrapping up and the media session wrapping up. We'll bring you some stuff from the Tigers here coming up in just a little bit. Right now, Chip Wild, president of Darlington, joins us after, what a great weekend at Watkins Glen, another exciting finish. But we have to start with the passing of Baker. And very sad news yesterday, Chip, to hear about Buddy Baker dying at the age of 74 after a bout with cancer. I tell you what, every race fan had his individual favorite, I'm sure, but I'm sure every race fan liked Buddy Baker. Whether you like somebody else the most, I think you also like Buddy Baker.
Yeah, Buddy Baker obviously had a ton of success on the racetrack, but his personality and his larger-than-life persona certainly lived off the track. Everybody in the garage had a story about Buddy Baker, and most of them had nothing to do with racing, just his acts of kindness and the other things that he did to help the business and help the industry, or what he'll be known for. And certainly, we lost a legend and the gentle giant over the weekend. And my thoughts and prayers are with his family as they go through this difficult time. Yeah, absolutely. For such a big man too, to be able to climb in and out of that race car and go 500 miles or whatever. I mean, it was quite unlike most race car drivers who were, short or shorter guys. He was a towering figure. Oh yeah, big guy, but certainly didn't inhibit his ability to get to victory lane. I was looking at some stats the other day. He won the 1970 Southern 500, and I saw the people he beat that day in order to get to victory lane. He beat Richard Petty and Kaylee Arbrough and David Pearson. All three certainly have had a ton of success at Darlington. And a guy was, he was very methodical in how he raced, and he wasn't real flashy, but he just got the job done. And like you said, in those old cars, they weren't custom built, so getting in and out of that window was tough. But he made it work and made it well, obviously. All right, as far as the racing goes, Watkins Glen, always love watching the road course races because you usually get an exciting finish, and we had that once again. And it's funny, we were talking to Kevin Harvick the other day at the State House when it was Darlington Day about running out of gas and bad things happening, and darn if it didn't happen again and open the door for Logano to sneak in there and get the win and complete the double for the weekend. Yeah, I was up in the tower on Sunday. I was up in the tower, and I was with the NASCAR officials, and we were talking, and Harvick screwed him. He was 3 laps short. Well, 3 laps short at a road course is like 15 laps at an oval. Yeah. And for him to be able to save as much gas as he did on that last run and make it to the last corner of the last lap is pretty impressive. But we knew that they would be short, but everybody was counting on a caution. You look at the last 5 or 6 years, they've had a late race caution that obviously has helped the teams and the drivers save gas, because you don't burn as much fuel under caution as you do under green flag conditions. But sure enough, it didn't happen, and so it ended up being a fuel mileage race. But what I really like is the last couple of years, or last couple of weeks, we've been talking about fuel mileage races and how they're exciting. Mm-hmm. And they truly have to become exciting because you don't know if somebody's going to make it or not. And so I think it's certainly the races have been, and the hands the last couple of weeks, some have made right calls, some have made the wrong calls, but it certainly has made for some exciting racing if you're a race fan. And what else was kind of interesting was, right near the end of the race, Logano he stays out, loses control there. He stays out of the wall, and you might have thought, that's it for him, but he never gave up. He got back in there and caught up and put himself in position to be where he needed to be to get the win. Well, he certainly had a fast car, and even if you look at the last lap, he overshot turn 1. We called overdrive in the corner, where you carry way too much speed into a corner, and still was able to recover and make up enough time to get to victory lane. So the 22 car and really Joey Logano all weekend was strong, and Team Penske continues to impress. I think they've been the team to beat and one of the teams to contend all year. But the thing that was that Jeff Gordon didn't have another good day. Jeff has been known as a road course racer. He's a finesse driver, and they just can't buy a break. And Hendrick Motorsports doesn't seem to be on top of the game, which is a little concerning, knowing that we only got 5 weeks until the chase starts. Yeah, absolutely. Where do you place Logano among the
the young breed of drivers now in that under. I guess maybe he is under 25 still. In that 25 or under category, where do you place Logano?
I think he's certainly, and I wouldn't say he's at the top of the list, but he is up there, and he certainly has made a ton of strides in the last 2 years over at Team Penske. He didn't do very much at Joe Gibbs. I think he was maybe still trying to figure out how to handle these 3,400-pound race cars. But he's found a home at Team Penske and certainly made the most of it. I think where they need to really focus a lot of their effort, Phil, is trying to be more consistent. They've had speed, but they haven't been able to finish these races where they really should. They either win or they don't finish in the top 5, and they need to be more consistent. I think that comes with maturity. I think it's certainly some of it has to do with luck, but they need to focus their efforts on really trying to be consistent. And I think they will be title.
All right. Now, what about Darlington? We get another weekend closer. It's coming at us fast. What are you guys doing right now?
Well, we got a lot going on, starting to move in tents and trailers and things like that. We actually had Dale Jr. at the racetrack today doing a photo shoot. We had Bill Elliott and Chase Elliott there yesterday. We have a big announcement next Tuesday with another race team. So, obviously with all paint schemes that people are doing as we return to Labor Day weekend and a celebration of the history of our sport, we have a lot of exciting announcements through the industry that are going to happen over the next 28 days. And I tell you, I was talking to Dale Jr. today. This is one of those races that if you're a race fan, you don't want to miss because of all the special paint schemes, because of all the things we're doing with the NASCAR Hall of Famers and the extra activity we have going to be certainly special. And if you haven't gotten your tickets, you need to go to darlingtonraceway.com right now and get them or call 1-866-459-RACE, 1-866-459-RACE. We need our state to support our beloved racetrack and show NASCAR they made the right decision in letting us have Labor Day weekend back.
Absolutely. Will the track look any different compared to last time out?
I'll answer that question again next week, though.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
No. It looks great. We've done a lot of one-ohs, sprucing them up. The property looks fantastic. We've done a lot of work in the last 18 months to really focus our efforts on when people show up, they realize we've done a lot of work. We've made the place look pretty.
Yeah.
Darlington's still Darlington. The track is still the track. But we want to make sure that people know that we're still spending a significant amount of dollars against continuing to improve the facility and making it better for our race fans.
But is there something special you're going to reveal maybe over the next week?
I don't know about that, but we're doing a lot of work right now. There's a lot of things going on the track.
Okay. I'll be checking my email. Over the next week.
That sounds good.
All right, Chipster. Thank you, man. Always doing something. Thank you very much. Chip Wild, president of Darlington. Okay, now he's got my interest up about what I'm trying to think. What would we like to see at Darlington? They got the white walls all the way around. Maybe some sort of stripe going all the way around the track.
Well, that'll happen about 10 laps in.
I know the natural stripe. I know the Darlington stripe from the cars, but I'm talking about a red stripe. Paint a red, like Charlotte.
You want to drink a red stripe?
Charlotte paints its walls yellow all the way around the track. They have yellow walls. Now Darlington likes the white walls because they want you to see the black marks that the cars leave on the walls. They probably won't touch that. What else could they do? Have to think on that.
Something in the infield, maybe.
I don't know. That's a very good question. We'll look forward to finding out what they're doing.
He was being very
scheming. He's scheming on something there. So look forward to that. Maybe. Well, he said next week. So maybe he'll break it on the show next week, or we'll hear about it sometime next week.
Slipped a new jumbotron in there with it.
That'd be hard to hide.
Yeah,
I think that would be hard to hide. All right, Braves in Tampa Bay underway, top of the third, and they are scoreless. And when we come back, we'll dive into Clemson football and let you know what's happened up there today. And at the very least, we're going to hear from Tony Elliott, co-offensive coordinator. That's coming up in a moment.
You guys got summer conditioning going through all that. How's everybody holding up in there?
Pretty good. I mean, we're prepared for it. That's what we work all summer for. So everybody.
No coaches today after Clemson's practice, players only. And they brought a bunch of defensive players over, including Travis Blanks, highly touted coming out of high school, been dealing with a knee injury, missed all of last year as a redshirt. Now he's back, ready to play, maybe at linebacker to contribute to the Tigers' defensive efforts. He was asked after practice today, was he glad he took that redshirt year last year? And if so, how has that helped him in getting ready for this season?
Yeah, I'm glad I made the right decision, although I got hurt even through that redshirt season. But I just wasn't ready mentally and physically. I just wasn't ready. So it would have done myself a disservice for me to try to live up to expectations and try to do what everybody wanted me to do if I wasn't mentally and physically ready. So at the end of the day, I made the right decision.
How healthy are you right now?
I mean, I don't have any limitations. I feel like the best I've ever felt.
For how long have you been no limitations?
For how long?
Yeah.
All summer. For as long as I can remember.
In the spring, the coaches, even when you were out, the coaches were pretty reverent of your leadership and your approach and being part of mat drill. How did you take winter workouts in spring when you weren't able to be 100%?
I just tried to invest in the program, invest in the game, and mentally invest as much as I could, although physically I wasn't able to be out there. But to me, I was out there.
Where have you been working the most? Is it at nickel, Sam? Is that where you're spending all your time?
Yes.
Working first, second, alternate? What are you doing?
I'm not sure about the depth chart or any of that. I've been working on, whatever group of guys they have me out there running with, I just go out there and just try to do my job.
Working that position, you get a lot of slot guys in front of you. Tell us about the new guys that are running in the slot, how you compare them to the guys we have now.
I mean, it's really the same guys, Sharon Pete, Jamal Hopper, the same guys that have been here. Occasionally they have sets where I see Ray and maybe Dion, but those guys look good.
Does it feel good to be there flying the football?
Yeah, it does, man. It does. Feels great doing what I love to do.
Do you have a sense of excitement about this season? It's been, so long since you've played. And a sense of excitement about that first game?
If I wasn't excited, then I probably shouldn't be here with a uniform on. I mean, I think that's safe to say everyone's excited. I'm just excited as everyone else.
How do you deal with not playing for so long? How do you just get over that hurdle?
See, to the outside world, it seems like I haven't been playing for that long, but really the only thing that I missed was 13 Saturdays. All throughout my redshirt season, I was here going through practice, covering guys, doing everything. So to me, I've been out for so long, but to me, I haven't skipped a beat. Only thing that I missed last year were the game, the Saturdays. But as far as the preparation goes, I didn't miss a step. So.
Is it hard to work that hard and not play in games?
Yeah, I think it's hard not to see the rewards of your preparation. But again, I made the right decision. I did what I had to do to give myself a chance to be where I am now. So.
What do you bring to that position? What is it that Travis Blanks can do at the nickel, Sam?
Just leadership and just knowing that I'm gonna consistently just do my job, not try to do too much, not trying to go out. I'm just simply gonna do my job. Whatever the coach is asking me, whatever it is, I'll just do that.
It's a really talented group back there. A lot of the safeties and corners, even linebackers, all kind of been around a little bit now. It just playing. How much has it changed since when you first started playing with that group?
How much is it?
Like that, just the personnel. It's changed a little bit. I mean, is it talented or more talented than what you ever?
I mean, personnel group has changed every year. Every year you're gonna play with new guys. Every year you're gonna get older and new guys come in. But yeah, I feel like this is the talented group we've ever had. But I feel like I've always played with a talented group.
All right, Travis Blanks from Clemson today, and you hear him talking about being healthy, talking about playing primarily the nickel, and I guess when he's not playing nickel, he's playing Sam linebacker, and you see more teams playing the nickel because there's so much spread offense out there. You don't see the three linebacker all that much, but he's a versatile guy, and he can step up and play linebacker or drop back and play nickel. And like so many Tiger players we hear from on the defensive side, again, he's echoing the thoughts of the others. They're going to be good on defense. He's not foreseeing any kind of a major step back by this group, despite all the players they lost from last year.
Well, it's interesting because I go back to what I said before: is you can be as talented as you want to, but the big thing about that defense last year was those guys had their heads handed to them because they were thrown into the fire. And I think that extra little oomph that where you've been and now you are is the extra kick they had, especially those seniors, which this group does not have. They'll have to earn that as they go through this season.
Well, leaders develop during a season. We'll see who those leaders turn out to be at Clemson. We'll be right back. All right, coming up on the end of the program here on Tuesday night, and want to remind you we debut tomorrow night on Sports Talk, a night with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. They'll be here tomorrow night to answer your questions about the great outdoors. Captain Billy Downer will join us at 7:30 tomorrow night, and we'll be talking boating. You know, boating season is still going on. It's hot enough to be out there on the lake, in the ocean, on your boat. Coming weeks, we'll cover dove hunting, alligator hunting, and, of course, deer season is right around the corner. You may not know this, consider myself to be a great hunter. I have bagged 2 deer in my day. Notice I use the proper form of deer. One with a Pinto and one with a Chevy. I bagged my most recent one the night of the USC Clemson game last November on my way back from Clemson. Bayow! Got him good.
Well, you know, one of the safety things people don't talk about.
Do you get credit for that? Am I considered a championship hunter?
No,
because I've used my car.
You're considered a statistic. Those who run into deer. No, the serious business though. When you're walking, a lot of people don't talk about this. Maybe they'll talk about it tomorrow. During deer season, if you're walking in the woods, you got to be very careful. I've had to hit the deck a couple of times.
Because of hunters?
Well, because
mistaking you as a deer?
No, because the deer, they're chasing the deer in the direction I'm walking. So see me.
What are you doing walking in the woods?
Well, when I'm at home in Denmark, you walk in the woods. You take a nice little relaxing walk in the woods.
You don't have indoor plumbing?
That has nothing to do with it. No, what I'm saying is if you walk around anywhere around the 2 campuses
Denmark.
there,
I mean, come on. You're not that advanced. I've been through Denmark.
Oh, we're very advanced. I tell you, that's why I'm saying you might not be advanced because you're sitting here at the same table I am. But anyway, what I was about to say is if you're walking near a clearing or whatever, and that deer comes toward you, you may hear some shots. And I have hit the deck a couple of times.
Well, tomorrow night, Coach Billy Downer will be here. He'll answer questions about hunting and fishing. We'll have this segment every other Wednesday night on Sports Talk at 7:30. So for you folks out there who love the great outdoors, be sure to join us and email us your questions, tweet us your questions, and we look forward to talking about some outdoor sports activities that don't have anything to do with shoulder pads and baseballs and things of that nature.
Or tailgating.
Well, you can tailgate and hunt. I'm sure there's some tailgating that goes on when you're hunting and fishing. You know, guys get together and drink a couple of brews before they jump into the wild. That's tomorrow night, of course, along with our coverage of USC and Clemson and everything else in between. K-Mac, have a great vacation. See you next week. Pro, thank you. Thank you, State Man. And we'll see you all tomorrow night.